Station, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure what is going on here. We have got two leopards in front of us. A very young one also to the left of us. There is noises. They are not happy with each other, these two. We're going to stay with them. VM seems to think it's Thandi and Shadow. They are not happy. Let me just move up forward. There is another one behind us that is a very young, probably Shadows Cub. Okay, I'm just going to go around. Let's go this way. This is awesome. We just found some very fresh tracks. And then this is what we found. Weaver's Nest. Just come onto Weaver's Nest from the main access, from Gowrie Main. Okay, this is... Yeah, James is quite interested to come and assist us here, but yeah, they're heading east from our position, directly away from Weaver's Nest. The youngster is still behind us, but we're going to see if we can stay with these two. But they were vocalizing. They weren't very happy with each other. There we go. There's something happening. There's definitely some sort of territorial dispute going on here. Now it looks like they're heading towards the main road again. Yeah, there they are back on the main road. It seems to be a little bit of a you go that way, I go this way sort of stuff. That is our fire break. You see him there, V. Sorry, folks, it's very difficult to film when moving. But they are moving quite quickly, so we're going to see if we can catch up with them. Heading directly back towards the main road again. Yeah, just when we think it's nearly time to head home, VM, the unbelievable wildebeest, spotted some very fresh tracks in the road, and now we are back at the main road, and both of those two adults seem to have crossed, but the juvenile is still over here. So let's just give it a moment, see if we can. But there was growling happening between those two females as they were moving. They're definitely competing, I'd say, for some territory. And definitely Shadow looked like the smaller of the two leopards there, but it's my first time seeing her. We were just driving along, and VM was like, "Ooh, there's a leopard." And then I went, "Ooh, there's another one." And then we saw three. So that was quite something to behold. But the two adults have now seemingly crossed south. Go back to where we saw Shadows Cub. Wow indeed, folks, wow indeed. We're right here back on the road where we started. Let's see if we can find that beautiful little one there in the road up ahead. Looks like Shadows Cub, folks. You can tell me for sure. She's wondering what Mum is up to. Isn't she a beauty? Is that Shadows Cub, folks? Let me know what you think. But the other two have basically did a big loop coming back towards this place. I'm not sure what was going on. There was a little bit of aggression between the two, but it wasn't. They weren't looking at each other. There was almost like an invisible boundary that they were both running along. And this youngster here was basically just watching. Just going to move up a bit, see if we can get a better visual. This is incredible, folks, and at the moment it's just us. From leopards, from buffalo and elephants to beautiful cats. There she is, rubbing her face in that African weeping wattle, which you all know very well. Ah, there we go. Do you see the posture she's doing with her mouth? Now, This is not Barbara, apparently you're all agreeing. So, folks, did you see what she did with her mouth there? That's activating what we call the Jacobson organ. There's obviously some leopard scent marking there, some urine in the grass or on the leaf. And look at how she's doing it. By doing that grimace, it's called the phlegm response. You see it in a lot of animals. They'll raise their top lip. It's to activate this organ that is in the top of the mouth, top of the palate. And that indicates all sorts of things. Indicates sexual maturity, indicates female, male, strength, all sorts of interesting stuff we can't even hazard to guess. But the wildebeest was correct. Those tracks were very fresh. I'm just going to call it on the radio, folks, just so others know where we are. Stations, I've located Shadows Cub on Weaver's Nest, 50 meters to the north of Gowrie, Main. I need to go back onto Djuma radio. We were on Chitwa chatting with them there. They were very interested about our buffalo that we had. Sorry, I'm going to do that again. My apologies. Stations, I've located Shadows Cub on Weaver's Nest, 50 meters north of the junction with Gowrie, Main. Animal is slowly mobile in a westerly direction. Can I see if I can keep with her, if you're up with that? I certainly am. Sprout in the road. Would Shadow or Shadow's cub kill Thandi's cub? It's not something I'm familiar with, of female leopards killing other cubs. But definitely something that males have been known to do. It's a very good question. Maybe we can throw that to Mr. James Hendry. She's just here. There she goes. She's wondering where Mum has gone to. But yes, definitely the aggressive response that we saw there from Shadow, she was almost sort of shepherding Thandi away from here. Almost if she knew, and this youngster was just sort of hiding. We saw her first, and then we saw the other two leopards sort of on a perimeter, kind of looping around the side. And the aggression, there was no eye contact, but there was just this rumble coming from at least from Shadow's chest. I wasn't sure what Thandi was doing, if it was Thandi at all. I was still very new to these leopards, but this is a marvelous thing to see, this youngster. And I wonder where the other two have gone. Haven't heard any snarling or any fighting, but leopards will avoid confrontation if they can. You can't afford to get an injury, so the posturing and the body language would be enough to hopefully keep the other one at bay. Because a leopard can't afford to get bitten on the back leg or something like that, because that just will lead to being unable to climb a tree. And if it can't climb a tree, it can essentially be dead in the water when it comes to getting away from lions and hyena. And also caching its food. Just going to move up a bit here still. See if we can get another look at this beautiful cat. Karen, do I think she looks hungry? That is a good question. Definitely looks in very good condition. Whether she's hungry though or not, I'll have to have another look for you now. There she is there. She is such a beautiful little cat. Now I know why you were all going crazy on Twitter the other day when she was found. Just get a look at her there. How's that, V? It's just behind the bushes here. And yes, she does look like she could eat. Absolutely sensational. Good job, wildebeest. Good job. We were looking at those tracks and wondering how fresh they were, and having a discussion of whether they were probably tumbo from this morning. Didn't seem like anyone had driven on this road. And then suddenly, we'd stopped to look at the tracks, and Mr. Wildebeest was like, oh, there it is. And indeed, there it was. She's doing a big circle in the block here. I wonder if she's hoping Mum's going to come back after chasing away the rival. Everyone's saying how big she's got it. Yes, well, it's my first time seeing her, so I'm going to pay attention to her growth now. But when I saw her initially, she definitely looked like a young leopard. In comparison, I mean, Thandi looked like a monster compared to Shadow. And then if it was Thandi at all, I did not get a proper look. I don't think we actually saw her very well. Is she contact calling is a question. I can't hear. I can't hear if she is calling. But I'm just going to try come around here. She's heading straight back towards where we came in. I don't think she's deliberately trying to lose us. I think she's just trying to figure out where her mum has gone, because she probably would be willing to eat if Mum was willing to provide. Okay, now she is moving towards our southern boundary. Don't go south, Shadow. It's Cub, aka not Barbara. Stay with us here. They never seem to grow old, leopards. Even when they're adults, they still play. See, she likes trees just like me. What a wonderful end to our morning. That's why, folks, it's important to constantly be alert and constantly be awake. You never know what you might come across. And we almost went another route home, and instead we decided on Weaver's Nest, which is one of our Okay, thanks James Richard, you've assisted us in the IDs. I know you do know all these cats very, very well, so VM's initial call was exactly that. But I wasn't going to put my name on it because I honestly didn't know. But you've apparently agreed that all three IDs are correct. And here she is. Beautiful little leopard. Hello, youngster. Okay, she's on our fire break now. Moving in a sort of westy direction. You can hear don't know if you can hear, but the fork-tailed drongo is shouting at her. Just like that, she disappears. But walking in the road makes it quite easy to follow. She's been doing a big loop in the block here. Okay, so we're going to continue here a little bit with this young, aka not Barbara. And look at that beautiful tail. Maybe we'll get her to stop and give us a little smile. And while we leave this beautiful cat, I believe Taylor's got a beautiful... Not Barbara indeed, is being very playful, and she just stalked and pounced on. We're not quite sure what. We're going to have to reposition to see. Don't go south, young lady. She's been walking this fire break and doing what she was doing before, testing the urine that some cat has been spraying and going through all sorts of things in her brain. You can't imagine when you smell something like that, what it actually tells you. But it's very important for them to learn from an early age. Who's dominant? Is that my mom? Is that not my mom? There we go. Now she's playing the part. Aegis asks if Shadow called, would she hear her? I think maybe a bit far away now, but they'll probably move into the same area and smell each other before starting to call. Just going to make some space. We have another vehicle that's busy joining us here. I'm going to go up ahead and let them maybe come and have a look. Just let me talk to him quickly. Yeah, brother, we've just got her just to the left of me. If you have a look, I'm just going to go up a bit. Please enjoy. Can you see her, V? There we go. The perfectly camouflaged spotted cat. Got one of the Djuma vehicles that's just joined us. They're obviously very excited to see a leopard as well. We've been enjoying this by ourselves, or with you, for the last, 15 minutes or so, which is magical. There she is. So she's going through all sorts of exploration. She smells all the urine. She's trying to investigate how to hunt small birds. A lot of learned behavior. She follows mum a lot, but she's now at the stage where she could probably start feeding a little bit more for herself, but still quite young. Would probably still rely quite a lot on mum for a proper meal. The time a leopard is able to kill its first impala, adult impala, is when it sort of graduates to the hall of adulthood. And we're seeing Hasana doing that quite regularly. Catherine, you feel quite bad for cubs being forced to be on their own. That's just the way it is, I'm afraid. You know, that's how they learn. They are very instinctive animals. I mean, if you look at a domestic cat, you take it away from its mother quite early, and yet it still is able to do all of the necessary things to survive. So it's an important learning curve for it. It needs to understand the ways of the world on its own. It needs to understand the smells and the sounds and the dangers. You know, and they do learn it. They instinctively know a lot, and leopards are such a survivable animal. A lion cub away from its parents at an early age really, really struggled. But leopards, look at that. How camouflage is that? Leopard cubs, they just manage. And if they do manage to get to sort of adulthood, then they've earned their right to breed. And that strength and that genetic trait goes forward with her, or him. And that's how the gene perpetuates. We're kind of losing visual of her there. Just see the spot pattern through the leaves. So we're going to spend a little bit more time here with Shadows Cub. She's dangerously close to the southern boundary. I hope she doesn't cross there, because if she does, we can't follow. But she's very interested in whatever's going on, and she is gorgeous. But in the meantime, we're going to go to Ralph with some flat lions. A beautiful rosetted cat indeed. Thank you, Ralph. It's more interesting watching a leopard moving than a lion sleeping. But she is heading directly towards Texan, directly towards the road, directly towards our southern boundary. Look at her, isn't she just gorgeous? She's having a look at the people on that car. Still a learning curve for her. She is habituated, but still figuring it all out, you know. Mum told her it was fine, but she also needs to make that decision for herself. And they're looking a little bit sheepish, those guests in the car. Even though this is a young leopard, the first time a leopard looks at you in the eyes, it is quite a daunting experience, but a wonderful one nonetheless. But, folks, she has crossed to Little Gowrie, as they'd like to do, as Mom and Thandi did as well. We're not sure what was happening over there, and apparently they were littermates. But to me, it seemed like Thandi was so much bigger than Shadow, but that's what I saw. So, I spoke earlier this morning, we were talking about a really large hornbill, and we're going to leave Thandi's cub here because she's crossed, and we're going to head back on towards our breakfast.